What's up, guys? It's Jules. Thanks for coming back for another weekly update. There's a lot to talk about this week. A lot has happened. A lot of really good stuff has happened this week. This has probably been, well, at least today, I feel like I was leaving work tonight and I finally, I was like, I'm forgetting something. Like, I have to do something tomorrow. What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. And then I realized for the first time in I don't know how long, I don't have anything impending that I absolutely have to do, like, right away, work-related. Like, all the stress and everything that's been coming, like, I think I finally got it all taken care of. It only took getting up at 4 o'clock this morning to get it done, but it happened. So, yeah, you guys are here because of the whole Ronnie Rowe thing, aren't you? Yeah, I know you are. I know. We'll get to that. And so, but a lot, some good stitching got done and whatnot. Before I go any further, though, I want to say that for those of you who don't know, I'm a big St. Louis Blues fan. I attended Game 4 in St. Louis last year for the Stanley Cup playoffs, or Stanley Cup finals. And last night, one of our guys had some kind of a cardiac episode in the first period of a game in Anaheim. I decided not to watch the game. I was in bed at like 8:15 last night. The game started, I think, at 8 my time. And he had finished his shift. It was in the first period. He'd come off. He was on the bench. And they had gone to a TV timeout. He just fell over. And apparently they needed the defibrillator to actually get his heart to operate properly. So I'm thinking, it could have been a heart attack, but I'm thinking it might be more of an arrhythmia situation that caused that, just because he was doing so much better so quickly. But he's still in the hospital, and they say, he's doing well, everything's good. They don't know what happened for sure, like why it happened, but whew, hopefully we dodged one there. But it's probably Bo's probably played his last game. And I always know that guy because he has the inverted number. He's number 19. He's the inversion of my favorite player, Tarasenko. But Bo's played in the league for like forever. Last year, I think it was last year, they celebrated like his 1,000th game as a Blue. And he's been a stalwart of the team and really important part of the team. And I think his career is over. I just hope he's okay. He's too young. He's 36, man. He's too young to be having heart issues. So, anyway, so I had to get that out of the way first because that's the most important thing. And I hope all of you guys are doing well health-wise and everything is good. I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I went to bed last night at 8:15. And so I'm like, if I go to bed at 8:15 and I wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I could be so much more productive. I may have to experiment with that down the line. We'll see. I'm going to jump into first the stitching stuff. And for those of you guys who are only here because of Ronnie Rowe, you're going to have to wait a little bit. So you can fast forward or whatever you want to do. But I'm going to show you my stitching stuff. Because the Ronnie Rowe thing is going to take a while. And so let's just say that. First off, I want to show you my progress on It Is Well. It is well. It is well. So I stitched all the way over here. I finished this word. I did not do that. I stitched more over here as well. So my goal, it should be here soon. I ordered the one color that I was missing from a shop off of Etsy. And so there's a Gentle Art color that I was missing for this project. I think it's the dark green one. I don't know if you can tell, because this is kind of like a blue-green, and that's a dark green, and that's kind of like a charcoal-ish color. And so I can still stitch a fair bit. I can stitch all this all the way across, and I can still get a lot of this done, but I won't finish this part or this part until I get that new get that color in. But that should be coming in really soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe the day after that. I'm in. Guys, you have no idea. Like, I don't know. I have been putting it pedal to the metal for I don't know how many. Well, for 2 weeks straight. I've definitely been doing it for 2 weeks straight. Now I'm like, all of a sudden, like, woo, woo. All right, I'll stop. Reaper. Let's show you progress on the Reaper. Getting closer, getting closer. Filled in a lot down here, filled in more up here. I sometimes what I'll do is when I'm stitching and I've stitched for a while on a project, I'll actually pull up my last video, the last weekly update, so that I can see how much progress I've made. Cat? I thought the cat was right here. So I can see how much progress I made. So I have to make sure that I can see visible progress, like a chunk of visible progress, before I feel like I've done enough, because my shiny object syndrome, SOS, you know, it's real. And it doesn't allow me to stitch on one piece for like a really long period of time. It's good in some ways, but it's also bad because nothing ever gets done. But so we're getting closer and closer and closer to this being finished. At least this row, this page being finished. So it's not going to be this week, but we're going to get a lot further this week. Maybe next week. Definitely this month. Definitely this month. So happy about that. Then I'm going to show you Rainy Waterloo Place. Got some more stitching on that done. Here it is. Didn't get the page finished. It was, I don't know if I would say I was getting close to it, but I definitely got a chunk done so that it's pretty close. Can I get it done this week? I might be able to. If I stitch a fair bit tomorrow, I might be able to. We'll see. I have not decided what I'm doing tomorrow, so I would love to, though. Wouldn't that be awesome? Get this done? That'd be so awesome. Anyway, so there is Rainy Waterloo Place. Now, when we last left it, the last weekly update, I had mentioned how I could not get Golden Kites, the project that I have, Old World Map 2, I couldn't get it to work with Pattern Keeper. And people were telling me that it works. Why can't you get it to work? And I hope you can't hear that. Cat's using the bathroom. Seriously, buddy? Every video. He didn't care. So I share my mistakes and my really dumb mistakes, and this was a really dumb mistake. I had uploaded, stop playing with the paper bags, plastic bags. I had uploaded the PDF of the print. So I had right-clicked and saved the picture, and I had uploaded that, not the pattern. So there's no reason why it would have worked. So once I realized that, it was like, well, that's a no-brainer. And so I went ahead and got rid of the stupid print, and then I uploaded the pattern, 237 pages of the pattern, got it all loaded up, and got it to work. And it took a while because I went through and I highlighted all my progress to this point. It was like 47,000 stitches or something that I have already done. So I did that, and then I started working on a little bit more. I got everything. Well, no, I didn't. The current page, the one that I had like 7/8 done on, I don't have that entire page highlighted because that's very meticulous going in and seeing. And what I'm doing is I'm marking off the stuff I stitch, and then after I get to about 10 different stitches that I haven't stitched yet, I try to stitch as much of those as I can before I move on to a little bit else. So it was very tedious working on it, and with all the highlighting that I was already doing, actually that wasn't that big of a deal. There's a really easy way in Pattern Keeper to just select the page and highlight it and be done with it. But anyway, but that being said, I did actually jump ahead just a little bit. I had to. Well, because part of my feelings are with this piece is that I'm gonna run across the same colors in this next page that I did in the previous page, so I can fill in what I'm missing on the previous page as I'm doing the new page. It makes total sense to me. Doesn't make sense. It just has to make sense to me. That really. I mean, you just do what you do, right? You do you. But anyway, let me show you. Blah, 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 blah. All right, here we go. So there is the page. And I did stitch, I probably put in at least 10, 15 more stitches in there. And really, there's not very much to go. But I had to come over here and start stitching. I just had to. Because I was using Pattern Keeper. And I'm telling you guys, if you aren't using it and you have a pattern that is covered by Pattern Keeper. So if you have a golden kite, you have, I mean, there's so many different ones. A Hade, Heaven Earth Designs, Artisy. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ones. I'm really hoping for Cross Stitch Collectibles. Please, please. So what is the difference between doing gold or doing Pattern Keeper on Old World Map 2, which is, for those of you who are new, I call this my lifetime project. It is massive. It is huge. It's going to be so detailed and beautiful. So the difference is I have it on my phone, which I'm recording on right now. I have everything, the whole pattern on my phone, and easy to identify. It's so easy to see what you've stitched, what you've not stitched. It's so easy. And it's so much less space required. This is my book for Old World Map 2. I've got like about 220 pages of pattern still in here. I'm going to keep it. I think that you should have a hard copy, a PDF copy, hopefully, if you have that too. And shoot, now I'm going to say a Pattern Keeper copy. And so, you know, I think those are great ideas. So, anyway, all right, well, that's where we're at. And so I'm thrilled with this whole Old World Map 2 being, I mean, I've been saying for weeks, right? If I could just get it to work, I would start stitching. So I'm stitching. I love it. I love it a lot. So, all right, I gotta think. Is there anything else left to say before we get into this? You know, let's just talk about it. So, so you guys have known, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that from the very beginning of my cross stitch channel, and it's been almost 3 years now at this point that I've been doing this channel, I have always been working on a Ronnie Rowe project, which is this one right here, the U.S. Capitol one. And I have other ones that I've completed, which I still have this one up here. Oh, I have two hanging up, one that I need to frame to hang up. This one is this music teacher's house. This was one of the first, this was the first Ronnie Rowe that I ever did, but it also was the one of the first cross stitch that I ever finished. And maybe the first one I ever really framed for myself. I framed stuff for others, but not for myself. And so, so anyway, so yeah, so I just really, his work just has always really spoke to me. I love the pen and ink designs. One of you crazy guys got me one of the dog designs, which I love. And I think that one's going to be smaller and a little bit easier to do. And I don't, I have no time. But, so, basically what happened was, apparently you guys also loved Ronnie Rowe designs, and you started to inquire and you started to buy, and he was thrilled. He was thrilled that so many people found his projects, and that they loved stitching on them, and that they would tell him that and just embraced him, you know, as a designer and whatnot. And so he had reached out to me. I mean, it's probably been almost a year ago. It was a year ago because it was before my website kind of got wiped. But he had reached out to me and wanted to talk to me. And I was like, yeah, that would be great. And I keep forgetting. I just keep forgetting. He's on the East Coast. I'm 2 hours behind. I just think, oh, I shouldn't call him too late and whatnot. And so anyway, so we finally got to talk to each other last week on... It was Friday afternoon. It was late Friday afternoon. He was getting ready to go out to dinner with his wife. Or not getting ready. I didn't stop him from that. But they were going out later. And we had come home. We had a foot of snow on Friday. And that was a little unusual. So I came home a little early to get some work stuff done. And I got that done. And then I was like, you know, this is a good time to call Ronnie. Let me see if he's available. And so we talked for a little while. And he had sent me earlier in the week, is why we'd been communicating back and forth, and he wanted to give to me the new designs that he had created for 2020. And I was thrilled because apparently I was the first person to see them, first person to get them. And I mean, these are exactly what I wanted him to do, and I'm just super thrilled with him. Now, the sad thing for you guys is that these are for me. You know, he signed them for me and everything, and so so these are all for me. And he wants me to have them, and he wants me to stitch them sometime, and I will, because I'm definitely just gonna keep on chugging on Ronnie Rowe collection stuff, and so I'm super happy about it. But what it has enabled me to do, though, is we can do giveaway. And so we're so far into the video at this point that I think that only the true lovers of either Ronnie Rowe Designs or followers of my channel are actually watching at this point. So there have been a lot of really great suggestions that have come out with what's my words? My words are, I'm thinking ahead, so I can't think and then talk and then think. A lot of great suggestions so far about what he can do, but I tell you what, why don't you tell me if you could get any of Ronnie Rowe's designs? So I'm talking the Pen and Ink collection. There's actually a whole list, and I'm going to show the new ones again today, but there's a whole list on the back of any of his patterns that show you everything that he has done. So if you go to Ronnie Rowe Designs, I think is it .net? .com, sorry, RonnieRoweDesigns.com. You can see all these. I mean, there's so many of them. It's absolutely amazing, and take a look and see what you think. I every time I go, I see something else I want to do, but take a look, see what you think, and then I want you to comment down below which one that you would like if you win a drawing, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a drawing and we're going to announce the winner next week, and Ronnie will send you directly your winning pattern, and we will celebrate like that. And I think we'll have a few more of these as time goes by, because I know a lot of you guys would really like, you know, it's a completely different, well, if you're doing the pen and ink, it's totally different than a lot of other designers that are out there, and most, if not all, designers that are out there. And it's one of those things where it's truly, it's an eye catcher, as you guys can tell. They're eye catchers, and they're wonderful pieces of art to put on your wall, show your friends and family, to do as a present for someone. They're just wonderful. And so I have enough patterns now that will last me the rest of my life. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to get any more. But anyway, so let's go back to our conversation. So we talked, and there was a lot of different things that we talked about. But one of the things that I asked him when he was doing, you know, when he sent these, I waited till after I'd gotten the patterns before I called him. I wanted to look at them in person, and I just, you know, what made you do these patterns? And he said, you know, Americana, you know, it's just iconic images of American life, or just symbols of America. So we got Mount Rushmore, beautiful Mount Rushmore. We've got Our Lady Liberty with a bit of the background of New York City behind her. Are those the Twin Towers? You know what? I didn't even ask. I'm going to have to ask you, and I'll find out for you guys. But I'm wondering if those are the Twin Towers. He kind of put them in sort of almost like a hazy background. Gosh, I don't know. I'm going to have to reach out to him and ask him. I just now realized that, looking at it. And so the third one was the White House, which I love. I love how he did this with putting some of the more iconic presidents around the center rotunda of the White House, and with the quote, you know, oh man, it's so cool. It's just so cool. And then the last one he did was, you know, he'd come up with these 3 things that he thought he should do, and then he's like, well, who else, you know, or what else can I celebrate as far as America is concerned? And so he said, you know, there's so much talk about, you know, immigrants, immigration, and all these different things. And he's like, you know what? I want to honor the ones who were here first. So I want to honor the Native Americans with this beautiful, beautiful rendition. Now, I'm embarrassed that I actually am doing this video and I did not for sure find out who everybody was. I think this is Sitting Bull, but I'm not 100% sure. I just, his headdress looks familiar to me, but I don't know exactly who everybody is. Gosh darn it, I know where this is, but I can't remember it right now. But anyway, this is beautiful, and this is the largest one he's ever done. It's 480 by 320 stitches, and just be mindful when you look at it and you're thinking, wow, I could never stitch something so large. Understand that you're only stitching the colored parts. So if it's white, if you're doing it on white Aida, then you don't need to stitch any of that. In fact, you're meant not to stitch that. So you're going to need to use, if you want to, you don't have to, but you're meant to use, like a white Aida. And then there is a little bit of color on this one where there is a little bit of blue and a little bit of a light gray to kind of color in the clouds up there. Sneeze. Thank you. All right. Sneezing a lot lately. I think I'm allergic to dogs or something. Anyway, I did not sneeze on this, I swear. So, I mean, this is just unbelievable. I mean, isn't it? It's so good. It's so good. So, anyways, we talked about that. And what you may not know about Ronnie Rowe is that he stitches every project he designs, which is why I think that you only get so many that come out every year, because I want to say I had notes, but I left them downstairs while we were conversation. He starts by kind of sketching it out, kind of trying to design it. He uses there's a computer, a couple different, I think 3 different computer programs that he uses to basically bring that sketch into a way that that it'll look good on a cross stitch pattern. And then once it's put together like that, once he thinks it looks good, then he stitches it. And he's been a stitcher for decades, for a very long time, most of his life probably. And he was actually stitching when I called him. So, so he stitches everything he does to make sure that it comes out good. So you can imagine how long that these things could take him. So he tends to work a year in advance. So I think you guys are gonna. Did I tell you what he's doing next year? I can already give you an advance notice. He's doing musical instruments next year. He's doing a guitar, a violin, I believe a piano. He told me the other one. Was it a saxophone? It might be a saxophone. Man, my memory. I have notes. They're just downstairs somewhere. So anyway, so he's actually working on those right now, starting to design them, starting to kind of put them down and start to stitch them so that he can go on. But he's like, he has a hard time coming up with ideas that he likes. And so that's why when you guys sent me all those ideas on that video on Monday, I'm going to compile all those and send them to him so that, he can take a look and see if he can get some inspiration. You guys had a lot of great suggestions. I mean, you were talking about, a lot of people said lighthouses, famous lighthouses or castles. A lot of you Australians showed up. Good job, guys. Sydney Opera House, which I think would be beautiful. Animals came up. And then some people were just like, an iconic like farmhouse or, cattle or, just like a ranch kind of area with maybe some clouds coming in the background kind of thing. And there's so many great ideas and a lot more buildings and just all kinds of things. So I'm going to compile the list and shoot it over to him. And if you guys come up with any other really great ideas that you think would make for, and it doesn't have to be pen and ink. It doesn't have to be. It can be anything else that you think that he should do. Now, I would caution you, I would take a look at his website and see if he hasn't already done something, because he has done some dogs. He's done a lot of cats. He's done animals on the Serengeti, sailing ships, the row houses series I really like, actually, and that is something that has a lot of color in it, and that's something that would be different that I think I want to stitch someday. Absolutely. He's got the Innocence series, which is like the doll faces. Of course, the Colonial series, the Williamsburg series is the series I love. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much that's on there. Really, I'll go take a look. I'll link below just so you guys can see that. But yeah, so you know what? Also, I didn't catch his interview. I guess he had an interview with and I know you guys told me about this, but I don't think I watched the whole thing. But you know what he used to do before he was before he retired, because cross stitch has never been a full-time job for him. It's been a part-time passion, and that he turned into, you know, a second career, so to speak. But he used to be an engineer for NASA, believe it or not, and which that kind of shows. Wait, I say engineer. I know he worked for NASA. I'm gonna say engineer. I'm not really 100% sure. But you know, the meticulousness. How about this word? The meticulosity of his pen and ink work belies his background with NASA. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so we had a really nice talk, and he's such a nice guy. He really is. And he gets such a thrill when you guys, you know, reach out to him, or you know, you see him. He's going to be at the Nashville show, and he's really looking forward to it. He's looking forward to showing everybody these designs and talking about his inspiration for them. And he really, really enjoys that. And I can't make the show this year. There's just too much going on. I would really like to go next year and just kind of reach out. I saw on the list of presenters, or the list of, I went on and looked at, like, it's not a consumer show, so it's not something that your average stitcher should just really go and attend. It's more for business, distributors, designers. It's that kind of a thing. But Michelle Bendy Stitchy is actually giving 2 talks while she's there, which is fantastic. And one was harnessing the power of FlossTube, which Ronnie has done, and so and the second was oh man, I'm gonna forget. Yeah, I'm gonna forget. But it was another one that was like more like looking at marketing your work and whatnot. So you know, I love to present other designers whenever I can. If there's somebody out there that you want me to feature on one of those videos where I discuss stitching websites, I need to get back in and do at least another 8 or 10 of those. I also have the blog that I've been adding articles to. I'm not writing those articles, somebody else is. But a lot of articles on knitting and quilting and crochet and just a lot of different crafts that I'm trying to give people resources like I have with cross stitch, with the design websites, with all the FlossTube, all the things you can find on YouTube, you know, where to get supplies and all these different things. I'm trying to also create a center for that in knitting and crochet and quilting and all these different things. To have just one area where here's a page, and if you want to, you know, say you're knitting, so okay, how do you even get to the knitting part? How do you know, where's the instruction part? So here's classes, here's YouTube videos, here's how to get started, here's where you can get your supplies, here's a bunch of articles that I have on my site about basics of knitting and some different things, and then below that here are online sites for free knitting patterns and other, you know, blogs about knitting and just, you know, all these different things. So I'm putting together sections like that for as many hobbies as I can that are more like crafts. So anyway, so you know, the person who suggested the mosaic art, I have done that. I have a section on my Pinterest page about that, or a board, and then I have one article that's been written, and I put together a table of a table of stores where you can find adult kits for mosaic art. So there's all kinds of things on there. So if you're looking at maybe getting into a hobby, or you enjoy another hobby, you know, the stitchingjules.com blog is definitely a place where you can probably find a lot that you would want to look at. So I have been talking for a half an hour. This easily has made up for the last 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 8 weeks maybe that I have been a little bit more reticent, not wanting to talk a whole lot. I have been so tired and so stressed and so occupied by other things going on, which I hope within the next month I'll be able to finally tell you what's going on and share that with you if we can ever get to that point. It has been a very long slog, but I feel relaxed enough now that I think I'm going to get a lot more stitching done. So thank you guys for hanging in here this long. Go check out Ronnie's site, see what you think, see if there's anything else that captures your attention. Let me know which one's your favorite. Let me know which one you'd like to stitch, and I will select one of you guys. I'm going to do a random name generator. It's an online name picker, comment picker thing, so I don't look and figure out who it is. I just, all you do is you just take the URL, the address of the video, pop it into this little program, and it spits out a comment and the person, and if you've commented appropriately,